The latest horror blockbuster of 2024, Never Let Go, is here. Two children have lived in this isolated forest since childhood because their mother said that the outside world has been destroyed by monsters, and only this forest cabin, covered with scriptures carved by their ancestors, can protect them. When searching for supplies, they must be tied to a rope to go outside, with the other end of the rope tightly tied inside the cabin. In this way, the children are essentially under the protection of the cabin at all times. The mother sternly instructs them never to let go of the rope under any circumstances. The two had always strictly followed the rules, but an accident still occurred during this outing. Because the rope was of limited length, they could only hunt nearby, which led to the dwindling supply of resources. After searching for a long time, Xiao Jie still found nothing. But then he saw a bird egg not far away and excitedly prepared to pick it up. However, Xiao Jie could only follow the stars away. He was still angry and decided to play a prank on his brother. He stepped on the rope behind him and started pulling. But Arui suddenly untied the knot and rolled down the hillside. The sprained ankle made it even harder for him to get up. Xiao Jie hadn't expected things to escalate like this, so he quickly blew his whistle to call for his mother. Hearing the commotion, Anna rushed towards the abyss. But at that moment, the eerie hissing sound, but he saw nothing. Only Anna was sitting there like a madwoman, feeling uneasy. This made her question her mother for the first time. After returning, Anna immediately and violently pressed the children down onto the floor covered with runes and made them touch their hands and chant devoutly. It was as if she would kill her if anyone did not do so. Although the children were extremely puzzled by this, they obediently did everything under their mother's coercion. That was the first time we let him leave. Ari claimed that it was just a monster that failed to catch them. Xiao Jie immediately retorted that if it were really as his mother said, why didn't the family dog have a leash? The discussion reached no conclusion, and Xiao Jie stopped arguing and decided to find out the truth himself. But that night, Anna was startled when Xiao Jie suddenly appeared behind her. She saw him standing there blankly, not responding. After hearing this, was still unsettled and didn't open the wooden board again until the time was up. However, the other party had already wet his pants. At this moment, Xiao Jie was filled with humiliation, and he also began to resent his mother. Anna knew that her behavior had gone too far. She went back to the house, took out her treasured camera, and explained the principle and usage to the two boys. She said that this thing was a product before the destruction of the world. The photographic paper inside could take one last photo. She wanted to give this right to the two brothers. The children were instantly attracted by this novel and unfamiliar thing. Xiao Jie also immediately forgot his resentment towards his mother, but then the remaining supplies were not even enough to feed the people, let alone feed the pets. So she planned to kill the dog so that she could not only get food but also reduce consumption. It could be considered that the dog was making one last contribution to the family. After hearing this, Xiao Jie became very agitated and started arguing with his mother. Anna thought that since that was the case, they should vote to decide. But to Xiao Jie's despair, his brother ultimately chose to side with his mother. Now he was powerless to stop it and could only watch helplessly as the other person dragged the dog into the storage room. But just as Anna was about to take action, came from behind. The monster had appeared behind her without her noticing. It said it would possess Anna and force her to kill her own child. Anna was filled with despair and fear. She would rather die than let this happen. Seeing her mother slowly fall into a pool of blood, Ari stopped fighting and quickly opened the door. Although there was no trace of monsters in the house, Xiao Jie, who had killed his mother, still felt guilty and picked up a rope to tie around himself. Without Anna, the two of them could barely afford to eat. Seeing his brother, who was starving, Xiao Jie resolutely took on the task of hunting. He also did what his mother did and tied 3 ropes together. But even so, after searching for a long time, he still didn't find much food. But with his greatly increased range of activity, he also found a smooth road on the ground. Xiao Jie could clearly feel that this road was man-made. Thinking of this, he immediately shouted for help, but no one responded after shouting for a long time. He could only return to the cabin in disappointment. But at this moment, a person walked over from a distance. It turned out that the man was a tourist passing by and had just heard Xiao Jie's cries for help. So he came over to see if anyone needed help. After hearing this, Xiao Jie hesitated. He had a vague feeling that the outside world was not as his mother had said, but the ideas that had been instilled in him for a long time. After hearing this, the man said he had food in his backpack. Was speaking, Ari came out with a crossbow. Ari was convinced that this man was a monster trying to bewitch them. Seeing this, the man quickly said that he meant no harm and that if the two didn't want to be disturbed, he would leave immediately. He slowly turned to leave, but the next second, Ari shot an arrow through the man that he quickly covered his wound and struggled to escape into the distance. Seeing this, Xiao Jie immediately chased after him and soon found the seriously injured man. At this moment, the man was holding a cell phone that he had never seen before and was calling the police. He was curious about this thing. He still snatched the man's backpack. Now the two brothers were finally free from being beaten. Xiao Jie, who was eating delicious canned food for the first time, immediately began to devour it. But Arue refused to eat any that he believed that the monster's food must also contain evil. But he couldn't resist eating it all night because he was hungry. Ignoring what was happening made Ari gradually begin to have doubts. The photo of the man and his daughter in the wallet made him waver, and he also discovered other lighting tools besides candles for the first time. Just as he was sitting at the door thinking, he suddenly heard a noise coming from the storage room. Ari rushed over to check, but found that there was no one inside. At that moment, a shout suddenly came from behind him, which startled him. The girl claimed she was looking for her father. Seeing that the other person looked exactly like the one in the photo, the rope binding her made the girl feel strange, and she also noticed that the flashlight the other person was holding was her father's. Seeing this, Ari quickly tried to explain, but as the light stopped shining, the girl finally saw the junk and Anna's corpse. She was so frightened that she ran wildly into the depths of the forest. Seeing this, Ari subconsciously chased after her. Even without the monster, the dying beast was still dangerous. The two chased each other in the forest, playing hide and seek. Before long, the rope reached its limit. Seeing this, Ari, no longer believing it, finally not far away. Xiao Jia quickly ran towards the sound of support, but when he arrived there, he didn't see the other person at all. The next second, although he didn't know what was going on, he felt something was wrong and frantically ran towards the cabin. Fortunately, nothing unusual happened until he reached the door. Feeling uneasy, he quickly went inside and saw brother's hand and began to recite scriptures. But the next second, the other party pulled out a machete and slashed at him. Xiao Jia instantly realized that his mother hadn't lied. Monsters really did exist in this world. Instead of acknowledging the other person, he took out his camera, intending to capture this unforgettable moment with one last photo. It turned out that Xiao Jia, who was planning to run away at this moment, suddenly, Anna appeared and blocked her way. She realized that the person in front of her must be a monster in disguise, so she quickly ran downstairs, opened the storage compartment, quickly grabbed a rope, and closed the compartment. Anna, who was inside, immediately screamed in pain. After a while, she completely revealed her true form in her constant struggle. Seeing that she was about to give up, she heard this, and the possessed Anna stopped struggling, willing to use the divine power within the compartment to completely annihilate herself. Soon, the raging fire attracted the rescue team. Whether by luck or divine protection, Xiao Jia survived the fire and was out of danger. He quickly told the staff that there was another person in the forest. The staff quickly reassured him that they had also brought the unconscious Ari onto the plane. Seeing this, Xiao Jia finally relaxed. Looking at the bustling city in the distance, he was filled with anticipation for a better future. However, Xiao Jia did not know that in the last photo taken by the camera, a strange hand was draped over his brother's shoulder, and the monster that had transformed into Anna was inside the house. He did not see this either. Arui smiled evilly again.